not be arriving in Jim's boat. Another lot not far behind.
Oh, good evening, Fred.
Good evening, Mrs. Goddard.
Was that the water?
Yes.
Oh, you're all ready. I can remember it.
Yeah, I think so. Lemons, schnitzel, cream, eggs, tomato, and butter.
Oh,
So, wasn't it?
yes. Oh, that's right. Oh, so much to do. I don't know where to start. No maid's coming till the morning and all these guests arriving today.
Yeah, calm down, Ethel. Everything's ship-shape now. Looks nice, doesn't it, Fred?
Well, it's leading up to me. Kind of better, but I understand Dick's folks like that. It's better.
Oh, which folks are queer.
Well, as queer as a gent to build this place. Spent a wicked load of money on it, and then got tired of the whole thing and put it up for sale.
Beats me why the Owens wanted to buy living on an island.
Oh, come off it, Ethel, and take that stuff through to the kitchen. They'll be here any minute now.
Make a nasty climb an excuse for a drink, I expect. Like some others I know.
That'd be young Jim. I'll be getting along. I understand there's 2 gentlemen arriving by car.
I shall need 5 loaves in the morning and 8 pints of milk, remember?
Right.
Don't forget the oil for the engine, Fred. I'll have to charge it up tomorrow. We'll have the lights running down.
It's the railway's fault. It's at the station now. I'll bring it across first thing tomorrow.
Okay, Tara, can you give me a hand with the luggage, please?
Right.
I forgot to give you the list of the guests, Tom.
Oh, Tara, old girl. Phew, don't look very classy, lot. Ooh, Vera Claythorne. She's probably the secretary.
Oh, I don't hold much with secretaries, worse than hospital nurses, and then giving themselves airs and graces, and looking down on the servants.
Oh, stop grassing, Ethel, and cut along to that nice, brand new, up-to-date, expensive kitchen of yours.
Oh, too many newfangled gadgets for
Yeah.
my fancy.
Get on.
So this is it.
Perfectly lovely.
Good evening, miss. I'm Rogers.
Yours. Good evening, Rogers. Will you bring up my luggage and Captain Number?
Certainly, miss.
You've been here before?
No, but I've heard a lot about the place.
From Mr. and Mrs. Owen?
No, old Johnny Brewer, a talent miner, built this place. This sad and poignant story.
A love story?
This man, the saddest of all. He was a wealthy old boy. Fell in love with the famous Lily Logan, married her. Bought the island and built this house for her.
Sounds most romantic.
Poor Johnny. He thought by cutting her off from the rest of the world that even telephone as a means of communication, he could hold her.
But of course, the felony tide of our ivory talents.
Poor Johnny went back to Wall Street, made a few more millions, and the place was sold.
And here we are. When I ought to find Mrs. Owens, the others will be after me.
It would be very rude to leave me all by myself.
Would it? Well, I wonder where she is.
She'll come along when she's ready. While we're waiting, do you think I can have a drink? I'm awfully dry.
Of course you could.
It certainly is warm after that steep climb. What's yours?
Oh, no, thank you. Not for me. Not on duty.
A good secretary is never off duty.
Really? This is exciting.
What is?
All this. The smell of the sea, the gulls, the beach, this lovely house. I am going to enjoy myself.
I think you are. I think we both are. Here's to you. You're very lovely.
Where is Mrs. Owen?
Oh, Mr. and Mrs. Owen will be down until tomorrow, miss. They're in London. I thought you knew.
Tomorrow, but...
Yes, I've got a list of the guests expecting this, if you'd like to have it.
Thank you. How awful. I say, you will be sweet and help me, won't you?
I won't move from your side.
Thank you. I say, it seems weird to have only brought Tony Essope on the first boat and all the rest on the second.
That, I'm afraid, was design, not accident.
Design? What do you mean?
I merely suggested to the boatman that there was no need to wait for any more passengers. That and 5 shillings soon started the engine up.
You shouldn't have done that.
Not a very interesting lot, are they?
What I thought the young man was rather nice looking.
Callow. Definitely callow and very, very young.
And I suppose your big man in his 30s is more attractive.
I don't think, my darling, I know.
Wizard place you have here.
I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owens has been detained in London, I'm afraid, and won't be down until tomorrow.
Oh, too bad.
May I introduce Captain Lombard, Mr.
Marston, Anthony Marston.
Have a drink?
Of course.
Oh, you have gin, whiskey, sherry.
Whiskey, I think. Oh, wonderful place you have here.
I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owens has been detained in London, I'm afraid, and won't be down until tomorrow.
Say when?
Oh, wizard. How are you?
Name's Lombard. Have a drink, Mr.
Davis. Davis is the name. Oh, wow, it's a wonderful place here, isn't it? It's a bit of a stiff climb, but wow. What a view and what a height. Reminds me of South Africa, this place.
Does it? What part?
Oh, Durban, Natal, you know.
Really? Interesting country, I should think.
Oh, absolutely. Gold, silver, diamonds, oranges, everything a man could want. Talk about a big country full of beer and skittles.
And you?
General Mackenzie, isn't it? I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owens has been detained in London, I'm afraid, and won't be down until tomorrow. May I introduce Captain Lombard, Mr. Marston, and Mr.
Davis. Davis is the name.
Have a drink, sir?
Oh, yes, please.
Oh, you have whiskey?
That'll be fine. Are you in the service?
Formerly King's African Rifles. Too tame for me in peacetime. I chucked it.
Oh, pity.
Where is Miss Owen?
Miss Brent, isn't it? I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owens has been detained in London, I'm afraid, and won't be down until tomorrow.
Indeed, extraordinary. Did you miss the train?
I expect so. Won't you have something? May I introduce Captain Lombard, General Mackenzie, Mr. Marston, I expect you all met on the boat, and Mr.
Davis. Davis is the name. May I take your case?
Let me get you a drink. Dry martini, whiskey, and sherry.
I never touch alcohol.
You never touched alcohol.
I hope you know, young man, that you left us standing there on the wharf.
I'm afraid I was to blame for that, Miss Brent. I wanted to...
Well, I find it most extraordinary that Miss Owen not be here to receive her guests.
Perhaps she's the type of person who just can't handle this intrusion.
Perhaps it was her husband's fault.
She hasn't got a husband. I should like to go to my room now.
Of course, I'll take you there.
You'll find Mrs. Rogers upstairs, miss. She will show you to your room.
I'm afraid our host and hostess haven't arrived yet. Mrs. Lombard.
Warbrick, how do you do?
How do you do, sir? Have a drink?
Yes, whiskey, please.
Hi, how are you? Davis. Davis is the name. What a unique place you have here.
Yeah, as you say, quite unique.
Your drink, sir, will be just for now.
Old Badger Berkeley rolled up yet?
What did you say?
Old Badger Berkeley. He's the one that wrote me in for this whole show. When's he coming?
I don't think he is. Nobody named Bert.
A dirty old double-crosser. He's let me down. Oh well. Pretty Wizard Island. Rather than a wizard girl, that section. Sure to liven things up a bit. See, old man, what do you say just for dinner, if there's time?
Let's go and explore.
Wizard.
Yeah, things a bit at 6 and 7 is what the Owens not having up.
Sure you want. Wizard place for a holiday, what?
Aren't you going to sit down?
Oh, to tell you the truth, you're trying to sit in my chair.
I'm sorry, I didn't realise you were one of the family.
Oh, that's not that exactly. It's just that, well, I haven't actually been here before, but you see, for the past 10 years or so, I've been living in the Barclay Pub. And my chair's just about there. Damned if I get used to sitting anywhere else. Thank you. Quite as good as a club, but a nice chair, I would say. To tell you the truth, I was a bit surprised to get the invitation. Haven't had one the same for, oh, well over 4 years. Jolly nice of them, I thought.
please, sir.
Is Lady Constance Culmington expected here today, can you tell me?
Lady Constance Culmington? I don't think so, sir, unless she's coming down with Mr. and Mrs. Owen. Oh. Can I help you with this, sir? And can I have your keys?
Oh, no, thank you. I'll unpack myself, thank you.
Very good, sir. Dinner is at 8 o'clock. Shall I show you to the room, sir?
Oh, yes, please.
Thank you.
How are you? Davis. Davis is his name.
Elizabeth Armstrong.
Dr. Armstrong, I assume.
Yes.
Oh, for sake, never forget a face.
Don't tell me I've forgotten one of my patients.
Oh, no, nothing like that.
Oh.
But I recall seeing you give expert evidence in court.
Oh, really?
Well,
Are
you see,
you interested in law?
well, you see, I'm from South Africa. Naturally, legal processes in this country has been an interest of learners such as myself.
Oh, yes, of course.
Have a drink.
No, thank you. I never touch it.
Do you mind if I do? Mine's empty.
No, not at all.
What I say? It's a wonderful place around here. Very peaceful.
Wonderful. I thought as I was coming across the mainland what a haven of peace this was.
Should be peaceful for some, I dare say.
Yes. Wonderful. Wonderful for the nerves. I'm a nerve specialist, you know.
Indeed. Did you come down by train?
No, I drove. Dropped in a patient on the way. Great improvement. Wonderful response.
Did you come from London?
No, I drove down and some mannerless young fellow nearly drove me into a ditch near Amesbury. Shot past me at 80 miles per hour. Oh, a disgraceful piece of driving. If I'd have got his number, I would have reported him.
Ah, yes. And if only more people could take the names of these young groundhogs.
Yes. You really must excuse me. I must have a word with Mr. Owen.
Oh, but Mr. Owens is not coming down. Oh, well.
You rang, sir?
Ah, yes. Take my hat.
Certainly, sir.
What time's supper?
Dinner will be at 8 o'clock, sir. In a quarter of an hour. I think tonight dressing will be optional.
What's the place you have here?
Thank you, sir.
You've been here long?
Just under a week, sir.
Is that all?
Yes, sir.
So I don't suppose you know too much about this crowd here?
No, sir.
Old friends of the family?
I really couldn't say, sir.
I see. Oh, Rogers.
Yes, sir.
Rogers. Don't suppose you could put a bottle of beer and a sandwich in my room at night? I get one hell of an appetite with this sea air.
I'll see what I can do, sir.
I'll make sure you don't lose by it, Rogers.
Thank you, sir.
Now, where is my room?
I'll show you, sir.
Ah, excellent. I can deal with a wash and a brush up straight away.
Of course, sir.
Wait a minute, let me just grab my suitcase. I'll be with you now.
Oh, there you are, Rogers. You ought to wear these dirty glasses. You're always leaving the dirty work to me. And here am I with a four-posting on my hands and no one to help me. You might like to give me a hand with it fishing up. Who is that you are talking to now?
Oh, this is Miss Davis, a South African gentleman. No class, if you ask me.
I don't like him. I don't like any of them much. More like that bunch we had at the boarding house, I'd say.
Davis gives out he's a millionaire or something. You should see the state of his underwear. No class at all.
Well, I'm telling you this, Rogers. It's not treating us right. It's coming till the morning and all these guests arriving today. What do they think we are?
Now then. Anyway, the money's good.
So it ought to be. Actually going into service again unless the money was good.
Well, it is good, so stop going on about it.
Well, I'm telling you this, Rogers. I'm not staying any place where I'm put upon. For these guests. I'm a cook. And I'm a very good cook.
First rate, old girl.
But the kitchen's my place and housework's not my business. These guests. I've a good mind to put my hat and coat on and walk right out now and go straight back to bed.
You can't do that, old girl.
Who says I can't? Why not? I should like to.
Because you're on an island, in case you'd forgot.
Oh, yes. And I don't know whether I fancy being on an island.
Can't say as I do, really. No nipping down the pub, no going to the pictures. Anyway, it's double pay on account of the difficulties. And there's plenty of beer in the house.
That's all you ever think about beer.
Oh, stop nagging, woman, and get back or your dinner will be spoiled.
It'll be spoilt already, I expect. Everybody's going to be late. It's wasted on them anyway. Oh, thank goodness I didn't make this so
Aye.
Oh. Dinner won't be long, miss. Just dishing up.
Is everything all right, Rogers? Can you manage between the two of you?
Oh, yes, thank you, miss. The missus goes on a bit, but she gets it done.
What a lovely evening.
Yes, the weather seems very settled.
How plainly one can hear the sea.
A pleasant sound.
Hardly a breath of wind and deliciously warm. Not like England at all.
I should have thought you feel rather uncomfortable in that.
No.
It's rather tight, isn't it?
No, I don't think so.
Well, you'll forgive me, my dear. You're young and you've got your living to earn.
Yes.
Ah, a well-bred woman doesn't like her secretary to appear too flashy. It looks as though you were trying to attract the attention of the opposite sex.
And would you say I do attract them?
That's besides the point. A girl that deliberately sets out to get the attention of the opposite sex won't be likely to keep her job long.
Surely that would depend on who she's working for.
Really, Miss Claythorne?
Aren't you being a little unkind?
Young people nowadays behave in the most disgusting fashion.
Disgusted?
Yes. Sunbathing, soap and sunbathing, it's disgraceful. Nothing but an excuse for immodest conduct. Blimey, and look at the young men nowadays, decadent. Look at that young Marsden. What good is he? And that Captain Lombard.
What do you object to in Captain Lombard? It seems to me he's a man who's led a very varied and interesting
The
life.
man's an adventurer. Young people in drink nowadays, no good at all.
You don't like youth, I see.
What do you mean?
I was just remarking on the fact that you don't seem to like young people.
Is there any reason why I should pray?
No, it just seems to me you must miss out on an awful lot.
You're very impertinent.
I'm sorry, it's just what I think.
The world will never improve unless we stamp out immodesty.
Quite pathological.
What did you say?
Oh, nothing.
What about the old boy?
He looks like an old tortoise, don't you think so?
All judges look like tortoises. They have that venomous way of darting their heads in and out. Justice Wargrave is no exception.
Oh, I hadn't realised he was a judge.
Oh, yes. Justice Wargrave has probably been responsible for sending more innocent people to their death than anyone else in England. Hello, Ian. Do you two know each other? Dr. Armstrong, Miss Claythorne, Dr. and I were just discussing Justice
Yes, I
Wargrave.
heard you.
What's awfully young.
And so did he, I think.
Oh, Sir Lawrence.
Miss Brent, isn't it?
Yes. I have something I'd like to discuss with you. Right, sir.
Remarkably fine night.
Yes, a supercharged sports the multicolour. Don't see many of those on the road.
Did you come down from London?
Yes, about 208 miles in a little under 4 hours. Perhaps 90 going over Salford Plain. Not too bad. Too many cars on the road though.
I think you passed me on the road.
Yes?
You nearly drove me into a ditch.
Did I? Sorry.
If I'd have got your number, I would have reported you.
Oh, but you were footling around in the middle of the road.
Footling? Me footling?
Oh, well, what about a drink?
Good idea. Will you have one, Miss Claythorne?
Oh, no, thank you.
Good evening, Mrs. Owen.
Why Mrs. Owen?
You'd make a most attractive wife for any wealthy businessman.
It's outrageous, though.
Always.
Well, now we know.
Say, what's all this Brent talking to the judge about? She tried to buttonhole him upstairs.
I'm not sure, but she seems certain that there wasn't a Mr. Owen.
You don't think that there isn't? They aren't.
What, married you?
You know, it seems damn shame when we didn't know each other. I could have given you a lift down.
Yes, that would have been grand.
Well, maybe we can drive back together. I'd like to show you what I can do over Salford Plain.
But I...
Well, it seems so damn silly. I went into car.
Yes, but she likes the way she's going back.
Oh, look! Aren't they sweet? These 10 little China soldiers. And here's your nursery rhyme.
What soldiers? What rhyme?
10 little soldier boys going out to die. One choked his little self, and then there were 9. 9 little soldier boys stayed up very late. One overslept himself, and then there were 8.
8 little soldier boys walking in Devon. One got left behind, and then there were 7.
Ladies and gentlemen, silence please. You are charged with these indictments, that you did respectively and at diverse times commit the following. Elizabeth Armstrong, that you did cause the death of Louisa Mary Cleves. William Henry Law, that you brought about the death of James Stephen Lendor. Emily Caroline Brent, that you were responsible for the death of Beatrice Taylor. Vera Elizabeth Claythorne, that you killed Peter Ogilvy Hamilton. Philip Lombard, that you were guilty of the deaths of 21 men, members of an East African tribe. John Gordon Mackenzie, that you sent your wife's lover, Arthur Richmond, to his death. Anthony James Marston, that you were guilty of the murder of John Lucy Coombs. Thomas Rogers and Ethel Rogers, that you brought about the death of Jennifer Brady. Lawrence John Wargrave, that you were guilty of the murder of Edward Seaton. Prisoners at the bar, have you anything to say in your defense?
It's all right. She's fainted. She'll be round in a minute.
It's all right, Ethel.
Anybody got any brandy?
Rogers, get me some brandy.
Who was that speaking? It sounded...
What's going on here? What kind of practical joke was that?
Where the devil did that voice come from? Here it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, silence please.
Turn it off! Turn
You
it
are
off.
charged with these indictments.
Oh, it's that disgraceful and heartless practical joke.
You think it's a joke, do you?
Well, what else could it have been?
Well, who put it on and said it go?
We must inquire into that.
Oh, dear me. Oh, dear me.
Mrs. Rogers, here, drink this. Drink this brandy.
Calm down, Ethel. Calm down. It's all right. It's
Oh,
lies.
it's that
All damn
voice.
lies.
It was that voice, that awful voice. It was like a judgment.
Now, we must get to the bottom of this. Who put that record on the gramophone? Was it you, Rogers?
Yes, sir. I was just obeying orders.
Whose orders?
Mr. Owens, sir.
Let me get this quite clear. Mr. Owen's orders were what exactly?
I was to put the record on the gramophone in the study, sir. I find the records in the drawer. I was to start with that one, sir, on the top. I thought it was just to give you some music.
Very remarkable story.
It's the truth, sir! Heaven help me, it's the truth! I just thought I was giving you some music. There's a label on it. I just thought it was some music.
Is there a title? Title?
Yes, sir, it's in time it's swan song.
The whole thing's preposterous. Absolutely preposterous. Slinging around accusations like that. Something ought to be done about it. This fella Owens, whatever he is.
Well, that's just the thing. Who is he?
Well, that is what we must inquire into most carefully. I should suggest that you take your wife to bed, Rogers, and then come back here.
Yes, sir.
I'll give you a hand,
Thank
Rogers.
you. Thank
Will
you,
she be all right, Doctor? Oh, she'll be quite all right.
Well, I don't know about you, sir, but I could use another drink.
I agree.
Preposterous, that's what it is. Preposterous.
Be used to the Lords.
Yes, I'll get it. I could do with a little whiskey myself.
She'll be around in a minute. I've given her a sedative.
Now then, Doctor, do you want a drink after all this?
No, thank you. I never touch it.
Oh, so you said. Deal, General, you'll have this one.
Oh, yes.
Now then, Rogers, we must get to the bottom of this. Tell us what you know about Mr. Owen.
Nothing, sir. No. I've never seen him.
What do you mean you've never seen him before?
Well, we've only been here just under a week, sir. We were engaged by letter through a registry office, the Regina in Plymouth.
That is a high-class firm. We can check on that.
I've got the letter here, sir. Engaging me.
Well, go on with your story.
Well, sir, we arrived here on the 4th, like the letter said. Everything was in order, everything tidy and ship-shape. Plenty of food in, it just needed a little dusting and that.
What next?
Well, sir, that was it. We were told to prepare the house for a party of 8. And then, yesterday, by the morning post, we received another letter telling us that Mr. and Mrs. Owen might be delayed, and we would do the best we could, sir. It gave the instructions about dinner and putting the record on, sir. Here, I've got the letter, sir. Here we are. Thank you.
Headed Ritz Hotel in typewritten.
Oh, coronation number 5. Quite new. In signed paper, no defects. We shan't get much from this. We can check the fingerprints, but it's been tampered and handled too much.
Quite a little detective.
Got a fancy name, hasn't he? Ulrich Norman Owen. What a mouthful.
I'm obliged to you, Mr. Marston. You draw my attention to a curious and suggestive point. I think the time has come for us to pool our information. I think it would be profitable if we were all to say exactly what we know about our unknown host. When we were all his guests, I think it would be well if we could say exactly how that came about.
Yes, this is all very peculiar, but I received a letter with a signature that was very difficult to read. It purported to be from a woman whom I met at a summer resort 2 or 3 years ago. It's very odd because I took the name to be often, and I'm quite sure I've never met or become friendly with anybody by the name of Owen.
Do you have the letter, Miss Brent?
Yes, I shall fetch it.
Miss Claythorne?
I never actually met Mrs. Owens. I wanted a holiday post, so applied to a secretarial agency in London, Miss Grandfather's. I was offered this post and I accepted.
So you were never interviewed by your prospective employer?
No, this is a letter.
Soldier Island, Sticklehaven, Devon. I have received your name from Miss Grenfell's agency. I understand that she knows you personally. I shall be glad to pay you the salary you ask, and shall expect you to take up your duties on August 8th. The train is the 12:10 from Paddington, and you will be met at Oak Bridge Station. I enclose £5 for expenses. Yours truly, Una Nancy Owen. Now, Mr. Marston?
Got a message from an old pal of mine, Badgerbird. Told me to roll up here. Surprised me quite a bit because I had the idea the old horse had gone to Norway. I haven't kept a while.
Thank you. Dr. Armstrong?
Oh, well, I think I may admit that my visit here was purely professional. Mr. Rowan wrote to me that he was concerned about his wife's health, her nerve to be precise. He wanted a report without her being alarmed. It was therefore suggested that I would be regarded as that of an ordinary guest.
So you had no previous connection with the family?
No.
Yet you had no hesitation in obeying the summons?
Well, a colleague of mine was mentioned, and a very handsome fee suggested. I was due for a holiday anyway.
Dear Miss Brent, I do hope you remember me. We were together at Belhaven Guest House in August some years ago, and we seem to have so much in common. I'm starting a guest house of my own on an island off the coast of Devon. I think there is really an opening for a place where there is good, plain English cooking, and a nice old-fashioned type of person. None of this nudity and gramophones half the night. I should be very glad if you could see your way to spending your summer holiday on Soldier Island. As my guest, of course, I suggest August 8th, 12:40 from Paddington Road Bridge. Yours sincerely, U.N.
I like the nudity touch.
Here is my own decoy letter from an old friend of mine, Lady Constance Cullington.
Oh, look here, I just thought of something.
In a minute.
Oh, no, you'll want to hear.
We will take things in their proper order, if you don't mind, Captain Lombard. General Mackenzie.
Got a letter from this fella Owen. Thought I must have met him at the club at some stage. Mentioned some old cronies of mine who were meant to be here. Thought I'd excuse formal invitation. I haven't kept the letter, I'm afraid.
Now you, Captain Lombard.
Same sort of thing. Letter mentioned mutual friends I haven't kept.
Just now we had a somewhat disturbing experience. An apparently disembodied voice made certain definite accusations against us. We will deal with those in a moment. For now, I wish to deal with a minor point. Amongst the names received was that of William Henry Law. As far as we are aware, there's nobody the name Law amongst us. The name of Davis was not listed. What have you to say about that, Mr. Davis?
Well, cat's out of the bag, I suppose. I'd better tell you now my name isn't Davis.
You are William Henry Law.
That's right.
I'll add something to that. I've noticed this evening, not only are you here under a false name, but you're also first class that. You claim to have come from the Tower, South Africa. I know the Tower, South Africa well. I'm willing to bet you've never set foot there in your life.
You gentlemen have all got me wrong. I am an ex-CID man.
Copper.
I've got my credentials and I can prove it. I run a high-class detective agency in Plymouth. I was put on this case by Mr. Owens.
For what purpose?
Well, I mean, he asked me to come here posing as a guest to give me a nice money order for expenses. He said Mrs. Owens had some valuable jewels. Mrs. Owens might feel I don't believe there's any such person.
Your conclusions are, I think, justified. Eulip Norman Owen, Una Nancy Owen. In each case, that is to say, U.N. Owen, or by a slight stretch of fancy, unknown.
And it's fantastic.
I've no doubt in my mind that we've been invited in by a madman, possibly a dangerous homicidal lunatic.
Oh my God!
Whoever it is who has enticed us here, got to the trouble of finding out a great deal about us, a very great deal. From that information, he has made certain definite accusations.
Oh, it's a pack of lies, it was all slighters.
Lies, all of it. Lies.
I wish to say this. Our unknown friend accuses me of the murder of Edward Seaton. I remember Seaton well. He came up before me in June 1930. He was charged with the murder of an elderly woman. He was ably defended and made a good impression on the jury. Nevertheless, on the evidence, he was clearly guilty. I summed up accordingly, and the jury brought in a verdict of guilty. In passing sentence, I fully concurred with that verdict. And there was an appeal on grounds of misdirection. The appeal was dismissed, and he was duly executed. I wish to say before you all that my conscience is entirely clear on the matter. I did my duty and nothing right. I passed sentence on a rightly convicted murderer.
Did you know Mr. Seaton personally?
I knew nothing of Seaton previous to the trial.
The old boy's lie, I swear he's lying.
Fella's a madman, absolute madman. Got to be in his body. Got the wrong end of the stick all round. I think it's best that these things left to when I'm answered. However, I would like to say there is no truth whatsoever in what he said about young Arthur Richmond. Richmond was one of my officers. I sent him on a reconnaissance mission in 1917, and he was killed. I'd also like to say, which I resent very much, the slow of my wife. She's a wonderful woman, salt of the earth, absolutely. Caesar's wife, indeed.
I've just been thinking. John and Lucy Coombs. Must have been a couple of kids I ran over near Cambridge. Beastly uniforms.
They're all for you.
Well, I was thinking for me, of course, right, sir. Bad luck for them too. It wasn't a pure accident. And my license suspended for over a year. Terrible.
This speeding's all wrong. All wrong! Young men like you are a danger to the community.
Well, I couldn't help it. Just an accident.
Might I have a word, sir?
Go ahead, Rogers.
There was mention of me and Mrs. Rogers and Miss Jennifer Brady. We were with Miss Brady when she died. She'd been unwell from the moment we went to work for her. Well, I don't know, the night she died, well, she was ill and died, there was a terrible storm and the telephone was out of order. I didn't know what to do, so I walked through the storm to the doctors and got the doctor, but by the time we got back, Miss Brady was dead. We did everything we could for her, so we were devoted we were. There was never a word against us, never a word.
Came to a nice little something for it though, didn't you?
Miss Brady left us a sufficient legacy on account of our service, and why not, I should like to ask?
What about you, Bloor?
What about me?
Your name was on the list too.
I know. Lender. Down to the London commercial bank robbery.
I remember the name. It didn't come up before. You were the policeman in charge of the case. Lender was convicted on your evidence.
I was, my lad.
He was sentenced to penal servitude for life. He died in Dartmoor a year later. He was a delicate man.
Oh, he was a crook. It was clear from the start he was the one who put the night watchman out.
You were complimented, I think, on your handling of the case.
I got my promotion. I was only doing my duty, okay?
Convenient word, T.T. What about you, Doctor?
I think I may admit that the name means nothing to me. Or was it close? Close? Oh, I really don't recall ever having a patient of that name, or it being connected with a death in any way. It was all such a long time ago. The only thing, perhaps it could have been one of my operation cases in hospital. These patients come so late, and when things go wrong, it's always the fault of the surgeon.
And then it's better to give up surgery than take up nerve cases. Some, of course, give up the drink.
I protest! You have no right to insinuate such things.
Never suggested you did. Besides, Mr. Owen is the only one with all the facts.
Miss Claythorne?
I was in nursery with Mr. Peter Hamilton. We were in Cornwall for the summer. He was forbidden to swim out far, but one day when my attention was distracted, he started on. I swam after him, but I couldn't get there in time.
Was there an inquest?
Yes, I was exonerated by the coroner. His mother didn't blame me either.
Right.
I have nothing to say. Absolutely nothing.
You reserve your defence.
There is no question of defence. I have always acted within the dictates of my conscience.
What a law-abiding lot we seem to be. Myself excepted, of course.
We are waiting for your story, Captain
I
Monroe.
haven't got a store. What do you mean? I'm sorry to disappoint you. It's just that I plead guilty. It's perfectly true. I left those men to die in the bush, matter of self-preservation.
You mean you abandoned your men?
Not quite the act of a proper gentleman, I'll admit. After all, self-preservation is a man's first duty. Besides, natives don't mind being dying. They don't feel about it as Europeans do.
Our inquiry rests there. Now then, Rogers. Yes, sir. Tell me, who else is on this island, aside from ourselves and you and your wife?
Nobody, sir. Nobody at all.
You're quite sure of that?
Quite sure, sir.
I'm not yet certain as to the purpose of our unknown friend in inviting us here, but it seems to me he's not sane in the accepted sense of the word. He may be dangerous. In my opinion, it would be well if we were to leave this place as soon as possible. I suggest we leave here tonight.
Yes. I beg your pardon, sir, but we can't do that, sir. There's no boat on the island.
No boat at all?
No, sir.
Well, just telephone to the mainland.
There's no telephone either, sir. Fred Narracott comes over with his boat every morning. He brings the bread and the milk and the post and the papers, and he takes the orders, sir.
Bit unsporting, what? What to ferry out this mystery for we need. Whole thing's like a detective story, positively thrilling.
In my time of life, I could only desire for thrill.
Well, the legalised narrowing, I'm all for crime. Here's to it.
Well, Mr. Bloor?
I wanted to get you alone. You were right about what you said this morning. This damn murderer is one of us. I think I know who.
Really?
Did you ever hear of the Lizzie Bowden case in America? Old couple were killed one day by an axe, and the only person it could have been was their daughter, a middle-aged spinster. Incredible! So incredible that they acquitted her of all charges, but they never found any other explanation.
So your solution to the problem with this Emily Brett?
I tell you, she's mad. Religious mad. She's the one. I'll tell you why.
Really? I had formed the impression that your suspicions lay in a different one.
Yes, but I've been thinking, she's not scared. And I'll tell you why. She knows full well that she's safe. Oh,
Would you make coffee? Oh, it's cold in here.
yes, you would hardly believe it based on the weather we had this morning.
Captain Lombard and Roger's still out. Mr. Bryce? You're right to insist on us going to lunch and drinking some brandy with it. I feel better.
Of course, always adjourns for lunch.
However, it's a nightmare. It's as though we can't be true. What are we going to do about it?
We must hold an informal court of inquiry. We may at least be able to eliminate some innocent people.
Have you got a hunch of any kind, Mr. Claythorne?
If Miss Claythorne suspects one of us three, that is rather an awkward question.
No, I don't think it's any of you. If you ask me who I suspect, I would say Dr. Armstrong.
Armstrong?
Yes. She's had far and away the easiest chance to kill Mrs. Rogers. Terribly easy for as a doctor to give her an overdose of sleeping stuff.
Well, anyone could have put the dog cyanide in the brandy, I suppose.
Her husband would have had a good opportunity of administering a drug.
I don't think it's Rogers. He hasn't got the brains nor the finances to pull off a stunt like this. Besides, he's battled more than anyone.
Oh, God, something like this. Go on.
Who did you think it was? Beatrice Taylor? Oh,
No hope for rescue to this dies down. It's that coffee. I'm taking a coffee now, you see.
such restraint in the face of danger is nothing short of heroic.
I say, is anyone a swimmer? Could anyone make it to the mainland?
It's over a mile, and in this sea you'll be dashed and drowned on the rocks.
After the nap, Brent?
I beg your pardon, Miss Brett.
It's awfully cold in here.
Look, I could light a fire if you like, miss.
Yes, Rogers, that would be grand.
Very sound steam, Rogers.
Excuse me, but does anyone know what's become of the top bathroom curtain?
Brilliant, Rogers. Going back soon.
The bathroom curtain?
Yes, scarlet oil silk. It's missing.
Anybody seen a scarlet oil silk curtain? No good, I'm afraid, Rogers.
Oh well, it doesn't. Never mind, sir. It doesn't really matter. I'll just go and get some sticks and a few knobs of coal. Soon get a nice fire going, miss.
I wonder if he would like some hot coffee. He was terribly wet. Rogers!
What's become of the doctor?
And she went to her room to rest.
Someone's probably battered her one by now.
I expect she's had the good sense to bolt her door.
It'll be much harder now we're all on our guard.
I advise you, Mr. Draw, not to be too confident. I should like shortly to propose some measures of safety, which I think we should all adopt.
Against who?
Against each other. We're all in grave danger. 10 people came to this island, and then 3 are definitely cleared. There are 7 of us left. 7 little soldier boys.
One of whom is a bogus little soldier boy.
Exactly.
Well, if you ask me, Sir Lawrence, you the doctor are above suspicion. She's a well-known doctor, and you are known all over England.
Mr. Draw, that proves nothing. Judges have gone mad before now. So have doctors. So have policemen.
Here. Well, is he Watson?
No, he said he would prefer to make himself a nice cup of tea. What about the doctor? Should we take her up a cup?
I will take a cup up if you like.
I'll take it. I want to change.
Yes, you ought to. You'll catch cold.
She might not have lived to you, Captain. She might prefer to see me. She might be afraid of your revolver.
Ah, yes, the revolver. I want to have a word with you about that.
Oh, do go and change.
What are we going to say?
Why on earth would you bring a revolver on what's meant to be a little social visit?
I've led a rather adventurous life. Got in the habit of keeping a revolver handy. It's a pleasant feeling, don't you think?
We don't carry them in the force.
Damn suspicious fellow you are.
I know a fishy story when I hear one.
If it's about that revolver, I'd like to hear what you've got to say about it.
Well, I received a letter from Mr. and Mrs. Owen asking me to come here as their guest. The writer had a reputation for being a good man in a tight spot. Said peace and danger. But I've alright, I've kept my eyes open.
Too vague for my liking, that story.
I was born in this country. God, I've tame country bores me. It was an intriguing proposition, you must admit.
Too vague.
That was the whole charm. It aroused my curiosity.
Curiosity kills the cat.
Yes, quite.
Oh, do go and change, please.
I'm going, my sweet, I'm going. Maternal instinct, I think it's called.
Oh, don't be ridiculous.
That's a tall story if I've ever heard one. Why did you tell us this last night?
He was possibly thinking that this was exactly the emergency for which he was prepared.
Perhaps it is.
You're wrong in that, man.
I hardly think so. It is just Mr. Owen's little bit of cheese to get him into the trap like the rest of us. He possibly knew him well enough to rely on his curiosity.
Are you such a good judge of truth?
Oh, we must get out of here! We must before it's too late.
The thing we must not do is to give away to nerves.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's just a case of physician, heal thyself. Oh, I've been so overworked recently. And I keep dreaming. Hospital, operations, hospital, operations, a knife at my throat!
Little nightmares.
Oh, yes. Do you ever dream that you're in court sentencing a man to death?
Are you by any chance referring to a man called Edward Seaton? I can assure you I would not lose much sleep over Edward Seaton, particularly nasty murderer. The jury liked him, I can see. They were inclined to let him off. However, I cooked Seaton's goose.
Oh, it's cold in here.
I wish Rogers would hurry up.
Yes, where is Rogers? He's been gone an awfully long time.
He said he was going to go and get some sticks.
Sticks. Sticks! Oh my God, sticks!
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Well, how many of them are there? 6?
There are only 5.
5?
Rogers and Lombard.
Oh no, not Philip.
Rogers! Rogers! Rogers!
Where the hell is the after like a madman?
Oh, Philip.
Have you seen Rogers?
Where should I?
2 more more soldiers have gone.
2.
Philip, I thought it was you.
Oh, what is it?
In the scullery.
Is he?
Oh yes,
How?
he's dead all right. Someone must have come up behind him with an axe where he was bent over the wood box.
One chopped himself in half and then there was 6.
Stop it! Stop it! She'll be alright. Our next bees. There keep bees on the island. That's the next verse, isn't it? 6 of those old boys playing with a hive of bumblebee stung, but then they were foul. Bumblebee stung. We all look pretty spry. What's wrong with any of us? Unless you don't think.
Oh! A hypodermic syringe.
Modern bee stick.
While she was sitting there. One of us.
One of us.
Which was?
Five little soldier boys sitting in a room watching each other, waiting for the blow. New version update.
Will you stop this facetiousness?
To relieve the gloom somehow. Down to electric plant window. Let's play a nice round game. How about inventing one called suspicions? A suspects B, B suspects C, and so on. Let's start with Blow. It's not hard to guess who Blow suspects. I'm your fancy anti-Blow.
All I'm going to say is that you've told 2 stories. You have acted suspiciously from the start. You have now told us you've brought a revolver, which you say you've lost.
I have lost it.
That's a likely story.
What do you think I've done with it? I suggested myself you should search me.
Oh, you haven't got it on you. You're too smart for that.
And I've cached it ready for next time.
I would be surprised.
Why don't you use your brain, Blow? If I wanted to, I could have shot the lottery right now. Pop, 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 pop.
Yes, but that's not the big idea, is it?
Crazy Sash. I'm saying enough.
The doctor said that there are some lunatics you wouldn't think would be lunatics. That is...
We must get out of here! We must before it's too late! Surely there is something we can do! Surely, if we built a bonfire...
In this weather?
It is, I'm afraid, a question of time and patience. The weather will clear, then we can do something. Build a bonfire, signal, heliograph.
A question of time. Time! We don't have time! We'll all be dead!
Oh, Louise.
Oh, but one of us!
What was her name? Please. Was it nerves that made you do her in the doctor?
No. Drink. I used to be a heavy drinker. Oh, I was drunk when I operated. Oh, God. Such a simple operation. But my hand was shaking all over the place. I can see her now. A big, heavy, countrified woman, and I killed her!
That is right, that's how it was.
Sister knew, of course. But she was loyal to me and to the hospital. got drink and went in for a specialist in nervous diseases.
Well, very successfully.
One or two lucky breaks with one or two important women. They talked to their friends. I've been so busy those last couple of years, I've hardly known which way to turn, and now I've got to the top of my profession.
Until along came Mr. Unknown Owen, and down will come Dr. Cradle and all.
Will you stop your damnable sneering and joking?
Please, we can't afford to quarrel.
Fine by me, I apologize.
But we can't go on like this.
We are adopting, I feel convinced, the only measures possible. As long as we stay together, all in the same room, a repetition of the tragedies that have occurred must be impossible. We've all submitted to a search. We know that no one has firearms or a knife on their person. Nor has anyone got cyanide or any other drug. As long as we remain, as I say, in the same place, nothing can happen.
We'll all be safe. Safe.
Very silent, you.
There isn't anything to say. Oh, I wonder what the time is. It's this awful waiting. Waiting for the hours to go by, yet feeling nothing might be the last. What time is it?
8:30.
Is that all?
Pretty awful lights. How about the candles?
So there's a whole packet. Storm's dying down a bit. What do you think, sir?
We mustn't be too optimistic.
We can't go on like this. We shall need food, sleep.
That's what I say.
If you like, I'll go out and get us some cup of coffee and open up some toast, but you four stay here. That's right, isn't it?
Not quite. You see, it might not be advisable for any of us to eat something you have prepared out of our sight, Miss Baker.
You just like me, do you?
It's not a question of likes or dislikes.
You won't be offended by saying so, Sir Lance. You're my fancy.
It's hardly the time for any of us to indulge in the luxury of taking offence.
I don't think it's Bloor. He hasn't got the imagination. All I can say, Bloor, is if you are a criminal, I'll take my hat off you for a damn fine act.
Thank you. For nothing.
I don't think it's the doctor. She hasn't got the nerve. You've got plenty of nerve. On the other hand, you strike me as eminently sane if you only murdered and a very good motive.
Thank you.
What about you, doctor? Who do you suspect? I've seen you looking at people. Talk.
That man. That man says he's a police officer, but we've got no proof of that. He only said so after the gramophone record. Before that, he was pretending to be some South African millionaire. Well, maybe this police officer is another one of his impersonations. What do we know about him? Absolutely nothing.
He's a policeman, all right. Look at his feet.
Oh, that's enough from you, Lombard.
Well, now we know where we are. By the way, Doctor, Miss Claythorne suspects you. Yes, she does. Haven't you seen her shoot you a dirty look from time to time? It all works out quite pretty. I suspect Sir Lance. Bloor suspects me. Armstrong suspects Bloor. What about you, sir?
Quite early in the day, I formed a certain conclusion. It seemed to me that everything that had occurred pointed unmistakably to one person. I remain of the same opinion.
Which one?
Well, no, I think it would be inadvisable for me to reveal the name.
Inadvisable in the public interest.
Exactly.
So What about the food idea?
I'm not ravenous. Go ahead, have a guzzle away.
Tell you what, suppose I go and get a tin of biscuits for everyone.
Good idea. Oh, Bloor? An unopened tin, Bloor.
I wonder what happened to the bathroom curtain, the one the watchers missed.
With the wildest stretch of imagination, I cannot think of any homicidal unit with scarlet oil slick out.
The things seem to have been disappearing. Miss Grenfell's a scheme of Livermore.
The murder of whoever he or she is a kleptomaniac too.
How does it go? 5 little soldier boys
Going in for law, one got in Chancery.
in Chancery. How would that apply? Unless, of course.
And that, my dear young lady, is precisely why I am sitting right here.
Yes, but I'm casting you for the role of murderer, not victim.
The term in Chancery can apply to a boxer.
Perhaps we'll start a free fight. Seems to let you out, my dear. It's only the wind making the curtain.
Awful boy. It keeps going round and round my head. I think I'm going to remember it till I die. It's a long time.
Expect the big bad wolf to go up in my hand.
I've asked you before, Captain Lombard, to try to restrain your rather peculiar sense of humour.
Oh, I'm sorry, it must be a form of nervousness.
It's this terrible inactivity that gets on my nerves.
Just a minute. Put your hands up. Search it.
Oh, no, thank you.
You've had no dinner.
I couldn't eat anything.
I warn you, law will wolf the lot.
I don't know why you're being funny about it, Lombard. Starving ourselves is going to do us no good. How are we off cigarettes?
I haven't got any.
Fortunately, I have a plate.
I've got a whole box upstairs in my suitcase. I'll go and get them. I could do with a cigarette myself. You foresee that you stay where you are.
Not bad, these biscuits.
Well, then, cheese.
Cheese and celery.
Kill up with pads.
Her nerves are in a bad state, that girl.
I don't know whether I'd agree with you there, Doctor. It seems to me that Miss Claythorne is a very cool and resourceful young woman. Quite remarkably so.
That's what I feel. She's the guilty party.
Hardly likely a woman.
You and I, Doctor, see women from slightly different angles.
What's it to say to a nice bottle of whiskey?
Good idea. Rather be packing on an open bottle.
Who's that?
Oh, Philip! Philip, where are you? I can't find you!
I'm here.
Oh, why can't we have some light? It's awful in the dark. You can't see where you are. You can't see where anyone is.
It's a dumb draft on the stairs blowing the candles out.
Where's Dr. Armstrong?
I'm looking for the matches.
Forget matches, get some more candles.
I was horrified. Horrified to death. I went right my way through. The window was open up in my room. It blew out the candle when I opened the door. Then a long strand of seaweed touched my throat. I thought in the dark I was being strangled by a wet hand.
No wonder you yelled.
Who put the seaweed
I
there?
don't know. Well, I find out, I'll be sorry you was ever born.
Who's that?
It's all right, Miss Claythorne. It's only me.
Ah, there we go. God, who fired that shot?
He's dead.
3 and then there was 4. Then you done it. You got me out of the way. You got me to go upstairs for cigarettes so you could kill that old man helplessly in the dark. All of you mad, all of you crazy. That's why you wanted the curtain. That's why you needed a knitted wall. It was all planned long ago for this. Oh my God. Let me get out of here.
3 little soldier boys, sitting in a row thinking as they guzzle who's the next to go.
I don't mind this playful joking on a full stomach.
I must say, I was hungry. But all the same, I don't think I shall ever fancy tin tongue again.
Oh, some wanting that meal. I feel like a new man.
Within 24 hours, that food that does lower the morale.
Somehow, in daylight, everything seems different.
You mustn't forget, this is a homicidal lunatic someone who lives on the island.
But then why is it one doesn't feel jittery about it anymore?
Because now we know. Don't any doubt who the murderer is, eh, Paul?
That's right.
I said all along it was Dr. Armstrong.
You did, my sweet, you did. Till, of course, you went completely bad, suspecting us all.
Yes, it does seem rather silly in the light of day.
Very silly.
But that is Armstrong. What happened to her?
We know what she wants us to think has happened to her.
Tell me, what exactly did you find?
One shoe. Just one shoe sitting prettily on the cliff's edge. In fairness, Dr. Armstrong has gone completely off her under and committed suicide.
It was all very circumstantial, even down to one little China soldier just there in the doorway.
That seems to be overdoing it. A woman wouldn't think of doing that if she was going to drown herself.
Quite so, but we're fairly certain she didn't drown herself. However, she had to make it seem as though she was the seventh victim or according to the plan.
Suppose she really is dead.
I am a bit suspicious of death that was.
How extraordinary to think that there are 5 dead bodies in there, and we've been sitting here eating tin tongue.
Rather delightful feminine disregard for the facts. There are 6 dead bodies, and they're not all in there.
Oh, no. There are only 5.
What about Mrs. Rogers?
I counted, which means 5.
Now look here. Marston 1, Mrs. Rogers 2, Mackenzie 3, Rogers 4, Emily Brett 5, Wargrave 6.
7, 8, 9. Armstrong 10. You're right. Apologies, old boy.
Tell me, what exactly happened to my mum?
Well, after you threw your fit of hysterics and locked yourself in your room, we all decided the best thing we could do was just go to bed. So we did, and, well, locked ourselves in our room.
About an hour later, I heard someone pass my door. I came out, tapped on Paul's door, he was there all right. Then I went to the doctor's room, it was empty. That's when I came, tapped on your door, told you to sit tight no matter what. When I came down here, window to the balcony was open, my revolver was lying just there beside me.
Why do you think Armstrong chucked your revolver away?
Either an accident or she's crazy.
Where do you think she is?
Look, waiting to have a crack at one of us.
We ought to search the house.
And what, walk into an ambush?
Are you sure? But nothing after we went out last night.
I imagined all sorts of things, but nothing short of setting a house on fire would have gotten me to open my door.
I see, just thoroughly suspicious.
Well, look, what's the use of talking? What are we going to do?
If you ask me, do nothing. Sit tight, take no risks.
Now look here, I want to go after that woman.
What a dog with a bulldog breed you are, Paul. Between friends and without prejudice. You did move that little spot to hurt you, didn't you?
Well, I suppose it doesn't make too much difference now. Then was indeed innocent. The gang squared me up, I came away for a long stretch. I would have said something if it wasn't for that.
I think we're all in the same boat.
Well, I could not admit it in front of Mr. Justice Wargrave, now could I?
No, hardly.
I say, that fellow Seaton, suppose he was innocent.
I have no doubt that he was. Wargrave had a reason for wanting him out of the way. Well, Paul, I'm delighted you finally come down with your virtuous perch. I trust you made a tidy bit out of it.
Oh, nothing like that at all. They're mean lot, that Benningham. I got my promotion though.
Let know what penal servitude died in jail.
How's I supposed to know what's going to happen? I didn't know, did I?
That's your bad luck.
You mean his?
Yours too. Because as a result of that fact, your life could be cut short.
What, by Armstrong? I'll watch it.
You have to. Remember, only 3 little soldier boys here.
Well, what about you?
I'll be alright. I've been in tight places before and I've got out of it. Besides, I've got my revolver.
Oh yes, the revolver. Now, listen.
Same old gramophone record. No room for more than one idea in your head at a time, is there, Lord?
It's a good idea.
Yes, and you're sticking to it.
Now, look. If you are an honest man as you
Oh, come on, we neither of us are honest.
Look, if you are an honest man as you claim to be, Lombard, you will do the good thing and chuck that revolver down there.
Don't be an ass.
Look, I have said I will happily go for the house searching for Armstrong. Will you lend me your revolver?
No, I won't. It's my revolver and I'm sticking to it.
You know what I'm beginning to think?
You're not beginning to think, you square-headed flatty. You thought it last night and you come back to your original idea. I'm the one and only Mr. Unknown Owens. That's it.
I will not contradict you.
Think we've done well things, but I'm warning you.
Stop it! You're both behaving like a pair of children.
Sorry, teacher.
Of course Captain Lombard isn't the unknown Owen. The unknown is Dr. Armstrong, and I'll give you very good proof of it.
Oh, what?
Think of the rhyme. 4 little soldier boys going out to sea. A red herring swallowed one, and then there was 3. Don't you see the subtlety of it? A red herring. That's Armstrong's pretended suicide. But it's only a red herring, so she really isn't dead.
That's very ingenious.
To my mind, it's proof. Absolute proof. You see, it's all mad because she's mad. She takes a queer, childish, crazy pleasure in sticking to the rhyme and making everything happen in that way. Dressing up the judge. Kenny Rogers when he was chopping sticks. Using a hypodermic needle on Miss Brent when he might as well have drugged her. She's got to make it all fit.
Well, Miss Claypool, that is a very valid point. But where does she go from here? 3 little soldier boys went to the zoo. A bear hugged one and then there were 2. Well, she'll have quite a time with that. There's no zoo on this island. I say Armstrong. I say Lombard. What about a nice bottle of beer, eh?
I'm thinking about your stomach, Lord. There's one food and drink for you and you.
Oh, but come on, there's plenty of beer in the kitchen. Come
Yes. But if anyone wanted to get rid of it, the first place they'd think of putting in a nice lethal dose would be in a bottle of beer.
on. Wait, what's that? What's that? Help! Help! Whoa!
Lord's got his. Wire across the room. Attached to something above.
Is he?
Head stone in that big bronze bit all the top of the wall.
There. How ghastly. This is awful childishness.
Oh, what a fool blow was!
And then there were 2.
Be very careful of ourselves now.
We shan't do it, Philip. She'll get us.
She won't, I've never been beaten yet.
I'll never leave beside her.
It's just nerves.
Then do you feel it?
No, I don't!
Philip, let's get out of this house, anywhere. Maybe if there's a boat, maybe they'll see us.
Alright. We'll go to the top of the island, there's a sheer cliff from there, see if anyone approaches from the house.
Anything's better than staying here.
Would you be awfully cold in that dress?
I'll be colder if I was dead.
That's right. Quick reconnaissance.
Oh, Philip, be careful.
I'm not the law. The windows above. Oh, that's strange. Something washed up on the rock.
What?
You better wait inside. I'm going to have a look.
It looks like a body. Armstrong. Armstrong's body.
out, drowned, washed up at high water mark.
So there's no one left on this island, is that
Now we know where we are.
Now we know where we are.
Very pretty trick of yours, that why. Old Morgan always knew you were dangerous.
You.
You did kill that kid after all.
I didn't kill that child, Philip, please. You've got to listen to me. You've got to believe me.
I'm listening, make it a good story.
It isn't a story. It's the truth. I didn't kill that child. It was someone else.
Who?
A man. Peter's uncle. He was in love with her.
Go on, this is interesting.
Oh, don't sneer. It was hell. Absolute hell. There was a rock that Peter was always meaning to swim to. I wouldn't let him, of course. It was far too dangerous. But one day I had to go back to the house for something I'd forgotten. When I came back, I saw Peter swim into it. I knew he couldn't make it. The current had got him already. I rushed down the beach, but then you stopped me. Don't be a fool, he said. I told the little ass he could do it.
Go on.
I pushed past him. He tried to stop me, but I managed to get away. I plunged into the sea and swam after, but he'd gone before I could get there.
Everything went off well at the inquest. Called you a plucky girl and kept discreetly quiet, but he was part of the business.
Do you think anyone would have believed me? Besides, I really was in love with him.
That's certainly a pretty story.
Oh,
Then I suppose he let you down.
do you think I ever wanted to see him again?
You certainly are an accomplished liar, Vera.
Oh, you, why can't you believe the truth when you hear it?
Who set the trap that killed Blore then? I didn't, and Armstrong's dead. You know, I've broken most of the commandments in my time. There's one thing I won't stand for, and that's murder.
You won't stand for murder. What about all those natives you left to die in Africa?
That's just it. I didn't.
What do you mean?
For once. Just once, Mark, I played the hero, risked my life to save the lives of my men, left them my rifle, ammunition, and all the food there was, and took a chance through the bush. But the most incredible stroke of luck paid off. It wasn't in time to save my men. The word got out, I had to deliberately abandon them with my feet.
Do you expect me to believe that? Well, you actually admitted the whole thing.
I know. I got such a kick out of watching their face.
Do you expect me to believe the stupid lie like
Blast you!
It's there. Why didn't I see it before? It's there in your face.
Can't fool
The
me
face
any
of the
longer.
murderer. Now! You come one step closer, I'll shoot.
Young, lovely, quite well.
It's all come true. My rhyme. My 10 little soldiers plan. Silence in court. If there is any more noise, I shall have the court cleared. It's all right, my dear, it's all right. Don't be frightened. This is a court of justice. You get justice. You thought I was dead. You thought I was a ghost. Armstrong said I was dead. That was the clever part of my plan. Said we'd trap the murderer. Said we'd spy upon the guilty one. I could see who was the real murderer. She thought it was a wonderful plan. She met me out on the cliff that night without any hesitation whatsoever. She swallowed my red herring. Do you know, Vera, what I thought? All my life was to take life. Yes. Take life. I had to get what enjoyment I could from passing sentence on the guilty. I always enjoyed that, but I wanted more. I wanted to do it with my own hands. But I'm a judge of the High Court. I've got a sense of justice. Between our sovereign lord the king and the prisoner at the bar will true deliverance make. Guilty, my lord. Yes, guilty. You were all guilty, you know. That's why I had to take the law into my own hands. Into my own hands! Silence in court! Answer your asking first. Margaret told little Mrs. Rogers Coffey. Mackenzie was that. Got Rogers with an axe while he was chopping sticks. Doped Emily Brent's coffee so she wouldn't feel a hypodermic. Booby trapped for the boy. Law was a fool. That wasn't even easy to track Law. Returning the revolver was a nice touch. Made it interesting to see which of you went out in the end. I was banking on you, my dear, the female of the species. Besides, it always makes it more interesting to have a girl at the end. Prisoner at the bar, do you have anything to say why sentence should not be carried out? Vera Elizabeth Claythorne, I sentence you to death.
Stop it! Stop it! I'm not guilty! I'm not guilty!
People say that. Must plead not guilty. Unless, of course, you're going all out for a verdict of insanity, but then you're not bad. I'm bad, but you're not.
I didn't kill that child, it was you.
You spoiled my ride. My 10 little soldiers, boys.
But there's still you. You were number 5.
Don't worry, my dear. Still am.
Why? How?
Tumours, Claythorne. There's nothing to be done.
But that still doesn't explain all of this.
The whole thing started after a very casual conversation with the GP. He told me how many murders there must be committed, which the law cannot touch. He mentioned a particular case, an elderly couple who looked after a woman whose death was brought about by the withholding of restorative drugs. They stood to benefit very substantially from her death. This sort of thing, the GP said, is almost impossible to prove. And that was the start of the whole thing. I would seek vengeance for capital murder on a grand scale. A childish rhyme of my infancy came to mind, 10 little soldier boys. I was fascinated to see if I could make it come true. So I began to collect my victims.
But you were dead. I saw you. You were dead.
A simple deception. Dr. Armstrong was easy to manipulate. And he would question a doctor. Now there is, I think, little more to say. One little soldier boy, left all alone. He went and hanged himself. And then there were none.
10 little soldier boys went out to dine. One choked his little self, and then there were 9. 9 little soldier boys sat at very late. One overslept himself, and then there were 8. 8 little soldier boys travelling in Devon. One said he'd stay there, and then there were 7. 7 little soldier boys chopping up sticks. One chopped himself in half, and then there were 6. 6 little soldier boys playing with a hive. A bumblebee stung one, and then there were 5. 5 little soldier boys going in for law. One got in chancery, and then there were 4. 4 little soldier boys going out to sea. A red herring swallowed one, and then there were 3. 3 little soldier boys walking in the zoo. A big bat hugged one, and then there were 2. 2 little soldier boys sitting in the sun. One got frizzled up, and then there was 1. 1 little soldier boy left all alone. He went and hanged himself, and then there were 9.